Well, group stage is winding down here in Busan. I'm joined right now by Cap's father to talk a little bit about his experience here with coverage presented by U.GG. So, Cap's dad, which I see you actually have that on the back of your jersey. Do you want to show that off? Yeah, like we actually, that's your official title, I think. So, I've seen you before at events, but you came all the way to Korea to support your son. Was this a long trip for you?
Yes, it's a very long trip. I have never been in Asia before, or my wife, and actually we should go last year to China, but it was difficult to match with work and with visa. And then we had this chance, and this year we feel that there's some hype about the team. Last year the players were like solo queues, they were unique each one. But this year they are working so strong together. So and we can feel also the other fans. They say there's something in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to ask you because it's very fun. You were backstage because they interviewed you for the Korean broadcast with your son. We were just talking about that, and I guess my friend Candice, who is the interviewer for China, she asked for a picture with you, and you said only if we can say "Go Fanatic" or exactly. So you are like a Fanatic ambassador at these events, just here supporting the team and getting everyone to cheer for the team. Is that what your role is? Did you pick that? Like, do you want to be the guy that tells everyone to cheer for Fnatic?
I like. First of all, I like that to have a great, have fun and thrills.
Yeah.
And of course, my son is Fnatic, so now I'm Fnatic. If we were in many years ago, we were in Istanbul playing against with Dark Passage against the other teams down there, and then of course I was Dark Passage. But now I feel I'm a Fnatic always. I'm Fnatic family.
Yeah.
So that's my role here is more to have fun and actually to see that this is possible to see these matches and have a lot of fun all together, like a football match, European football. I love very much, and there it's you go there, enjoy, and that I know a lot about. This is still quite new for me, and I'm trying to find out how to behave. But actually, it's very easy because if you do something silly, you can see the young people there saying, "Ah, yeah, you don't do like that. You should do like this." So they're very good.
Yeah, it's good. They're teaching you how to be a good fan.
And 5 years ago we were worried. Now we are trustful and we are listening and adapt.
Yeah. Very good. Well, I just saw you a second ago, and there were fans taking pictures with you. So you're becoming a celebrity yourself. Do you get other fans to come up and ask for pictures with you?
I think when we went to Turkey, we should be there in Istanbul, I thought, for 1 week. It actually took 5 weeks where they played a lot. And then after he had played the first match, then we went out, and then there was these fans with all these pictures and all this. It was very nice. And then some of the things, this is Cap's dad.
Yeah.
And that was how it was invented. I don't speak Turkish, but they all helped me. And then I have also a Facebook profile from the start of the 11, 12, 30, but I have never used it, just to have connection with family and friends and around Caps. And now, at that time, I learned actually to just make small, pictures of each of the teams, and then put them together like you do in football. You have this is the top laner, this is the jungle. But then in that way, I learned a lot of the teams there, and then I was a little more prepared. And then when I could see in the Riot studio with all the other team managers, they were very friendly. You say, yeah, but he is very good, or he is not. So it helped me a lot. But then I learned this Cap stat.
Yeah.
And then I also learned that it's okay to take pictures. At first I'm very shy, but you adapt, you learn.
But fans are asking for pictures with you. I was at the Fnatic booth just now, and people came up and they were like taking pictures with you just now. So you're becoming famous.
Yeah, but I still think that's what you call the slip win of the big, my very big boy youngster Caps.
Yeah.
So I'm just going around here and then enjoy because that's for the team.
Yeah.
I think it's so nice that you have people who actually see this in all these computer screens everywhere in the world, and you don't. I have never understand how big it is behind the screen because there's a social life, and they actually know each other. And sometimes better than you normally say your friends in your school or in your clubs. But they know each other because they are between the games. They are talking, and they are very personal things, and they actually use each other trustfully.
Yeah.
And in some sense, it's okay, and therefore I think I just need to I'm just part of this, and I enjoy it.
Well, how long are you in Korea for? How long are you staying?
It was a little difficult. This was also the issue for the China because we don't know. We want to be there as long as Caps is here.
Yeah.
So we have an open ticket right now for the 24th, which means that we hope to get the quarterfinals. And then my wife needs to go for a meeting in Copenhagen, so she will will go some days around after the quarterfinals, and then I will go for this ride because I can feel down in my toes and up in my hairs that this could be really some big things.
Yeah.
We went to Paris to the MSI, and there we have this. They were all screaming, and they lost very close, I think, but it was a 3-0.
Yeah.
And we were really tired afterwards. We went out, and then there was the photo session, and with Royal Never Give Up, and also for the Fnatic. And then we have the idea that we wanted to make an GG for Uzi, and we asked if it was possible. And the first to say, yeah, but here's interviews or whatever. But then they actually said, you have our permission. So we went in there, and then we shake hand with a Chinese guy called Uzi, who's really good in this game we saw.
Yeah.
And just to say, then we said to him, "Hello, Mr. Uzi, GG for the game," and they translated. This game here is just a test. And then he was like this. My wife and I were standing like this, and then all the coaches or manager or the translators, they were like, what is this doing? And then I said, because we are going for the Worlds, and in the Worlds you will see the real match, I hope.
Yes.
Because you're never sure, but that's things we are going for.
Yeah.
And my son has always talked about Faker, and his 10 years older brother is a Dota 2 player, pro, and he's Mr. Rise. And they always joked about two things, Rise as his gamer name, and then when Caps, he actually picked the Rise champ. And then we said, well, then you are playing together. They say, ha, 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 yeah, no, but we didn't know the difference. And then the other thing was that they wanted us to make us worried. They say, yeah, now they call Caps baby Faker. And we say, Faker, we don't need, that's a betray, that's treat, we don't cheating, we don't want that. And they say, ha, 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 they were laughing. But then actually we found out later that Faker is a very famous one. And then we understood that last year, that was the thing that Caps aspired to go for. That was to have a match against Faker's team, but they were losing in just the last match before they lost, so he didn't reach. And now this year Faker is not here, so I think that I would hope that he will go for Uzi then, and I think that could be a really great match.
Yeah, Caps versus Uzi. The match of the century. Thank you so much for the interview. Best of luck to your son and the team. Thank you for taking the time for the interview.
Yes.
For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds right here on my YouTube channel.
Fnatic fighting.
There we go. Thank you. hey, listen, I I don't know. We've known each other for a long time now. Maybe you're subscribed to my channel. Maybe you're not. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I know you've been watching. I know you've been watching these videos, and I think it's time we have a conversation. Because I think we might be ready to take the next step in this whole dynamic. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's a really good chance. I don't know how you feel, but I feel like you haven't been clicking the link below to check out u.gg. And I know that maybe that's me, but I want to explain, okay? They're my sponsor for this event, so if you click the link, it's actually really helpful because you can check them out. And it's not just like, I'm not doing this selfishly. This actually helps you because when you click the link, you can look up a champion. You can see a build guide, you can see the prime build, the good build, the build that you want. You can see how the pros are building it. You can see counters. You can see all sorts of information, and you'll never lose champion select again, which I think would help us. So I don't know how you feel about this, but I hope we can make this work.